One of the most overlooked epochs of model trains is the immediate post-World War II era in Europe, particularly the years 1946 and 1947, when unbelievable devastation, coupled with the need to get the troops back home to their countries, resulted in some remarkable train consists and operations running across Europe. Often these trains were made up of whatever stock could be found and was available, regardless of the country of origin. This could include troops having to ride in luxury first-class coaches, open wagons, brake vans, and what was ever available. These trains travelled at incredibly slow speeds and took huge circumventive routes across Europe to avoid gradients and bridges over major rivers that had been destroyed. It could take literally weeks to travel back from, say, Greece to a port on the Atlantic somewhere in France. Maybe even months. You might have to get off a train somewhere in Germany and be stationed for a while and wait for something suitable to come along, depending on necessity and need. The repairs to the railways were often makeshift and ad hoc, with Bailey bridges being installed by mainly US military engineers, but also French and British engineers played a huge part in temporary rebuilding the railways of Europe in order to get something moving. This is why it took almost 2 years to get all the troops out of Europe and back to their home countries. Such was the lack of transport infrastructure capable of doing it on the rail systems. Couplings were also interesting in that literally they would strap wagons together according to necessity and what was available. This might include incompatibility issues solved with heavy ropes and chains linking, say, a cattle wagon next to a Wagonlitz Grand Orient Express coach that had been requisitioned by the military. Literally whatever they could get was whatever they would use. The trains, travelling very slowly, wouldn't even have signalling systems or control systems of any kind. Everything was literally the concept of one engine and steam, where the train would pause at a junction, a guard or a military officer would get out, change the points, the switches, and check to see if the track was safe. Often jeeps that were fitted with rail wheels would be ahead of the train, checking to see, again, if the line was safe and clear. There were no signal boxes, and remarkably, sometimes there were actually old wagons or passenger coaches put at the side of the tracks just to give some kind of rudimentary shelter to the signal person to cover the ground frames. Regards modelling this, I've only ever seen one N-gauge model in my whole history of looking into the subject, and it does have remarkable scope. You can also include, along with European HO stock, British HO stock of the period if you can find it, and also American, of course. So this is just a taster of the possibilities of modelling this era following World War II, and I'm really surprised it isn't more popular, because it gives people the opportunity to not only model fascinating consists of trains, everything from a postal van to an open-top coal wagon to a coach from anywhere in Europe, all the way to military modelling and so on included in the actual layouts. So take care.